The other day I was stuck in traffic when suddenly I received a text from a friend that went like this.
Hey Wingman, how much does it take to animate a bird flapping its wings?
And I'm like, the hell is that? How much does it take as in, how much does it cost? Or how long does it take to animate that? Or even, how much effort will I need to flip a bird? I don't know, people are so random. Anyway, speaking of which, here are some random struggles you might not know of in animation. Animation is virtual. As an animator, our job is making the audience believe it's real and connecting with audiences through character emotions. Getting a natural feeling to it is a challenge. A bouncing ball should look like a ball bouncing, not some anti-gravity meatballs. If you're familiar with the 12 principles of animation, you'll know that the more tiny details we're aware of, the better we are able to create the illusion of a living, moving soul. Wait, I thought souls were supposed to be non-living stuff? Whatever. As an animator, my biggest challenge is dealing with people who have no idea what really goes into doing an animation. How long does it take to animate my name? 5 minutes.
Hello? Kim has only 3 letters and 1 syllable in it? 5 minutes? Come on man, more like 5 seconds. Ugh.
People view animation as a simple process since all they see are the results. They're not gonna see the many hours of work you put into modeling and rigging and animating the characters. No! Simply put, they don't care. It doesn't matter if you're animating for a client or for your own YouTube video, you have an insane load of work even before you start, and that needs to be done in a very short amount of time. Besides it being the greatest nation in the world, imagination is also the worst thing that can happen to some animators. You might be a fan of gory anime, Attack on Titans, I'm looking at you, but the next person may prefer something like blue fluffy unicorns. Just ask yourself, why won't a Twilight werewolf lover necessarily watch Van Helsing? Both have werewolves, but the way they are portrayed differ. One is gory, and the other is more pathetic, romantic. I'd say one of the biggest struggles as an animator is catching the right layout in both character and environment design to deliver your message, be it a moral story, an interesting thought, or just plain fiction, and speak to your audience. You know, keep them interested. With all the wonderful animations done by Walt Disney, Pixar, or even video game animations, you'd think animators are paid a decent chunk of the cake. Wrong! That's right, my friends. Most animators don't want you to know how little they're often paid for their work, and they're embarrassed to admit that they took the low-paying gig because that's all that came across their desk this month, and they have rent to pay. We have an unfortunate trend in our society in that the work of animators and artists is discounted or diminished and often expected for free. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying often, but that don't mean everyone does that. Unfortunately, this perception of the value of an artist's work is so dominant that the artists frequently have to take any job they can get for whatever the employer wants to pay, which, to be honest, isn't really enough to live on. No artist or animator wants to admit they do this, of course, because if word got out that they would work under the going rate, they'd work themselves to death and starve while doing it. Oh. Now I know what you're thinking. Sleep is for the weak. How dare you underestimate me? Well, although the majority of us do lack sleep in one way or the other, animation majors are very certain not to get sleep, not because of procrastination, but mostly because of the workload. Yes, not gonna lie, I am fairly certain that there are those who leave it until the very last minute. There are also some who spend the whole night watching anime and then realize, holy shit, it's 5 AM! What have I done? And then complain about not getting enough sleep because of the non-stop all-nighters? you really can't say you lack sleep if you didn't have any to begin with, am I right? Just make sure it's for the right reasons. Not anime, you're broken, go home. Guys, I know a bunch of people who would tell you to pursue your dreams or face reality, but the point is, you don't have to be either of that. Animation definitely has its high and lows, just don't expect it to be like what they say. Doing something you love
means never working a day in your life?
That's crazy.